Wow, what is this? How many types of this? I think all of you confused, right? Yes, something is here, that is graphs. See these different types of graphs. Do you want to know about these graphs? Okay, let's learn about graphs. Just take chapter 15 from your textbook. The chapter is Introduction to Graphs. A graph is a visual display of some data. In most cases, the data exists in the form of a table. In many cases, the table itself is displayed. However, the same data displayed as a graph often creates more impact. A graph also makes it easier to understand or interpret the data that is being presented. When you interpret a graph, you can compare values and spot trends in the data. There are many different types of graphs. One type of graph is bar graph. A bar graph is useful for comparing values over time. A bar graph consists of a series of rectangles or bars. See this figure. Another one, double bar graph. See this figure. A bar graph is also useful for comparing values between group of items. Such a graph is called a double bar graph. The next one is histogram. A bar graph in which there is no gap between the bars is called a histogram. See this. A histogram is useful for showing the distribution of data over intervals. Another one is pie graph. A pie graph or a pie chart is useful for showing the proportion of each data value to the whole. See this figure. And the important one is line graph. A line graph displays data that changes continuously over periods of time. A line graph usually shows a visual comparison between two quantities using a series of line segments. The line segments are joined end to end. The line graph thus allows us to observe trends easily. This is a major advantage of line graph. See the example of line graph here. Moving on to the next topic, that is linear graphs. A linear graph is different from a line graph. In a linear graph, the set of points on the graph line up in an orderly manner. A linear graph is a graph that consists of a single straight line segment. See this figure. Now we are going to know about Cartesian system. When draw a graph, first start with two straight lines at right angles to each other. The horizontal line is called the x-axis of the graph. The vertical line is called the y-axis of the graph. The x-axis and the y-axis together are called the axis of the graph. The intersection point of the axis is called the origin. Generally, the origin is denoted by the letter O. The next one is coordinates. The position of a point that we draw on the graph is indicated by a pair of numbers within bracket. These are called the coordinates of the point. Friends, do you see these graphs? The graph of a proportional relationship results in a linear graph. A proportional relationship is expressed as an equation containing two variables. An independent variable can have any value, but a dependent variable value is determined by the independent variable. Okay dears, I think all of you understood different types of graphs. We will see you again. Study well. Bye bye.